Okay, counting down. And hello, South Florida. Welcome to the Monday edition, kicking off the week here on the Real Estate Show. We are live here Monday through Friday from 5 until 5:30 p.m. That's on the East Coast Standard Time. The Real Estate Show here, which is all about your real estate from A to Z, whether it be the properties, the financing, or anything else related to it. You'll see that we are live Monday through Friday, and each day of the week we sort of take a focus, put a spotlight on a different aspect of the real estate show. Now, Monday is our Mondays on a Mission, where we lay out the theme, and we've got a real interesting conversation. We're going to talk about the 6 fundamental or foundations of owning real estate. You know, as we like to say, our personal mission here on the Real Estate Show here is to help more of our listeners to enjoy and benefit from the benefits of the American dream of home ownership. And so we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about it from a couple of different perspectives today. We're going to talk about it from the non-financial benefits. Then we'll talk about the financial benefits. And then let's talk even about the economic, which is not the same, maybe even a little bit more big picture. But as we've now getting closer and closer to our 1-year anniversary of this pandemic, you know, over the past year, our homes have become a key central part, an integral part of our lives. And I would say now more than ever. It's not like, you know, food, shelter, and transportation wasn't already always the foundation and an important part. But now they're much more than just the roof over our head or the houses that we live in. So that's what we're going to talk about, not only today, sort of laying the foundation and the groundwork, but as we lay out the agenda for this week. Because moving on from that, we're going to talk about some tools, tips, and techniques, and how to make this more possible, make it more in reach for more of our listeners. Then we're going to talk about our midweek report on Wednesday, where we'll get into some of the highlights of what's going on in the marketplace and what's going on in the news as it relates to what we're talking about, this theme here, and how we can use the news to make better, more informed decisions. And we'll even interpret some of that news so that you can kind of get maybe sort of an insider's angle and a better way of doing real estate. And then Thursday, our ATM edition of the Real Estate Show, the ATM about the money. And so we'll talk more about the financial benefits and the financial aspects of real estate and why you don't want to get left out. We talked last week about a study that was done comparing the advantages right now in this marketplace with the current interest rates and what's going on, whether it was better to own or whether it was better to rent. And in 48 out of 50 markets, we saw that the advantage was clearly tipped in favor of owning. And especially with record low interest rates where we're at right now, the idea of having all of those benefits going to you as an owner and the long-term benefits. We're going to talk about all of that in both today's shows and throughout the rest of the week, and we'll be giving you some good financial aspects and some ins and outs there as well. As you know, in addition to our 5 shows, which are 5 days a week, we have been running a number of workshops. I want to tell everybody that a week from tonight is going to be our next equity creation workshop. Now, this workshop here is very interesting. And by the way, all of these workshops are absolutely free of charge. There's no cost, there's no obligation, but you do have to have a link in order to come into our private Zoom room so that you can attend that from the luxury, the comfort of your wherever you want to be. And so in order to do that, if you want to attend, that's going to be next Monday night starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time. It runs for just a little bit under an hour, and plus depending a little bit on Q&A and so forth. But that, in order for you to attend that, all you have to do is text to the Real Estate Show's smart line, which I'm going to give out in just a second, text the word equity to 561-861-2366. Once again, that smart number is 561-861-2366, where you can text that specific keyword, equity, and then the automation of the automatic landlord starts its wheels going, and it will send you and put you on the waiting list, or on the reserve list, I should say at this point, on the reserve list of who can attend. It is space available. We do like to keep our meetings cozy and comfortable. And so again, the word is equity for our Monday night. Now, Tuesday and Wednesday night of this week, we're going to be having our credit accelerator. Now, this has been very popular, and I gave in one of our last meetings, I gave an example of how we took somebody from the 500s to the 700s. And in fact, I also talked last week a little bit about how now we have access to specific software where I can take a financial snapshot of your credit today, and then I can plug it into the reverse engineering of the algorithms that give credit scores. And I can tell you what your maximum score is over the next 30 days and over the next 6 months. And so if we need a quick pop, I'll know exactly not only how high you can go, but what you can do. And so if you want to get more information about how we're doing some pretty magical things with folks' credit scores, then type in the word credit to our smart line. Now, once again, that's the word credit. Text it to 561-861-2366. And whether you want to attend the workshop or you just want to talk about how do I pop my credit score in a rapid way, if you're looking for a mortgage, for a loan, for this is where you really get to make things happen in a short amount of time. Now, we've been talking about making homes accessible. So if it's about affordability, if it's about getting a down payment, if it's about getting credit for your home, you're in the right place here watching the Real Estate Show. So those are some of the workshops. And don't forget our Thursday, one of our favorites, it's rubbing elbows with the entrepreneurs. And those are business owners, those are real estate investors. And we have our roundtable coming up on Thursday. That's Thursday. It's at 8:30 p.m. Again, to get the link, you got to type the word big table to 561-861-2366. And I also want to remind everyone that in addition to the radio stations that we're on, 1470 here on the AM dial, 95.3, 96.9, 109.6, 106.9, all of those radio stations, you can also track them down and listen to our radio show live on our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. Or go to our website. Well, that is the website, automaticlandlord.com. But you can also go to our Facebook page, is what I wanted to say. On our Facebook page, if you go to facebook.com/The Real Estate Show, no spaces, no hyphens, just go ahead and listen to that show there, and you can join us and all the folks on our Facebook Live page. So also, as I wanted to jump in there, in this conversation we've been having about our home is our workplace, it's our gym, it's our spa, it's our virtual schools, it's our safe havens that provide us shelter, stability, social distancing, and right now, more important than anything else, the protection from this evolving health crisis. Well, here's the thing, and this is where we want to make a difference. We want to shift the needle a little bit, if you will. 65.8%, according to the most recent statistic that I pulled out, 65.8% of Americans are fortunate enough to call their homes their own. Now, that sounds pretty good. That's nearly 2 out of 3 Americans own their own home. Why can't we get that number to be higher, to more like 80, 90%? Imagine how strong our economy would be, how much better our neighborhoods would be if everyone was able to own a little piece of the American dream, own that. And why? Well, let's talk about that for a second. As we continue to think about the future, our goals for the year. Remember, we laid out some pretty aggressive goals at the end of 2020 and into January this year. And when we think about all of those goals and what we want to achieve in this year, 2021, and even beyond, it's a great time. It's an especially great time. In spite of the battle with the inventory, it's a great time to be looking at the benefits of owning a home. And I want to lay out a couple of the high points now, and then we'll be talking more about that during the week. So we're going to talk about the highlights. I'm going to throw a couple of quotes out on there that, as I was doing my research, what I thought was pretty cool. The benefits of home ownership shared by the National Association of Realtors, which today has nearly 1.5 million members in its association. And so there's a lot of input and a lot of insight from there. And so from feel good motivations to just, the pride of home ownership and the pride of pointing to something that you have, you own, you take care of, to the economic benefits, to the financial benefits. And you're thinking, well, aren't those the same? Keep listening. You're going to find out why there is a difference. Not to mention the social impact of owning a home for you, the individual, as well as the benefits on the local community. So a lot of these items that we're going to talk about might give you a reason to take that next step. Now, remember, we were talking about if down payment was your problem, we have the solution. We have a number. In fact, as we announced last week, we were now going, instead of our white paper report on down payment assistance, where we have 0 down payment loans for our immediate responders, EMT, firemen, policemen, nurses. Even if you're not full-time employed in that field, but you are a volunteer or a part-time person, we've got special programs for you, including school teachers as well. So if you're interested in that information, DPA, type the word DPA to our smart line at 561-861-2366. And we'll be happy to send you our initial white paper. I'm going to tell you that this thing is changing. We're growing and finding more and more information. We're obviously watching the relief packages as they're coming out. There's a lot going to be in there for home ownership. So there's tons of information. You definitely want to be connected. Again, DPA, text that to 561-861-2366. Credit, if credit's the issue, for the Credit Accelerator Workshop Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, and equity, our equity workshop coming up next Monday, equity to 561-861-2366. So I'm going to jump right into the non-financial benefits, but I'm going to wait to do that right after these words. So we're going to take a quick break here, a few words from our sponsors. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner, and we will be right back. Marcos. Hey, Josh. Long time no see. Thank you. Felipe. We got California. We got South Carolina. We got all sorts of Florida. Hey, Peter. We got Joanna. We got Erica. Of course, we've always got Erica. So from coast to coast here in Florida, I'm seeing Tampa. I'm seeing, oh, nice. And of course, California. See if we get anybody jumping in from Brazil today. Oh, yeah, we're coming back in just a second. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here on The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate on AM stations, FM stations. It's also America's longest running daily radio show, and now celebrating 22 years strong, through good times and through bad times, through pandemics. And who'd ever thought that I'd be saying that on the air? But we're talking about what I think is the best investment out there, bar none. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about the pride of home ownership, and the pride of home ownership. And you got to admit, if you have a home, and I'll bet you that there are even some renters that have been in their place so long they feel like it's their home. But there's always something in the back of the mind that's saying, what if the landlord decides to sell? What if he decides to move back home? What if he decides to raise the rent beyond what I can hold? The pride of home ownership is just, it's a feeling that not only do you feel as the person who signs on the deed, but I'll tell you, your entire family benefits from that benefit. Kids grow up more adjusted. In fact, I'm going to get into some of that in when we talk about the financial benefits. But here's a cool quote: "The personal satisfaction and sense of accomplishment achieved through home ownership can enhance psychological health, happiness, and well-being for homeowners and those around them." So you get the pride of home ownership. We're going to talk about that this week. We're going to talk about civic participation, something that most people don't even spend too much time linking that with home ownership, but home ownership creates stability, and stability creates a sense of security, and stability and security also create a sense of community and increases people's want and desire for engagement. And who wouldn't want a little bit more engagement, socially distanced right now? But before all this whole crazy thing with the pandemic, home ownership tend to bring neighborhoods who got to know each other, and that also created security and safety. And it's a way to add strength to the local area in a sense of the civic pride and the activities, and it takes a village to raise a kid. And it does, it actually has this sort of snowball effect that the tighter and closer that community is, the more valuable that neighborhood becomes, the better the school systems. And then you'll know of places, I know of a few, where people generally don't move out of those areas. People get on a waiting list to get into that community. That when the school is strong, the community is strong, the safety and numbers are strong, it's just a phenomenal self-perpetuating fact. And if we had more areas like that, imagine how good this country would be. And I think it would solve a lot of the problems that are going on right now. So let's talk a little bit about the financial benefits, because we're going to talk about that during the week as well. We're going to talk about buying a home is also an investment in your future. It's an investment in today, and it's in your future. Here's some interesting statistics just to give you a little bit of a preview. Net worth. Home ownership builds your net worth. Today, the median household net worth of all homeowners is $254,900, while the median net worth of renters is only $6,270. Look at the difference of those numbers. $254,900. Let's just call it $255,000 versus $6,000. $255,000, $6,000, and you can get into a home with the same as if you were renting. That's why I tell you, if you're out there and you're renting, you got to write down our smart number, and you got to get a hold of us. And if you're not going to call us, call somebody, because every day that passes by is another missed opportunity for you to have a piece of the American dream. 255,000 is the median. That means half of the people are below that. Half of them are well above that median household of a homeowner versus 6,000 of a renter. Let's talk about financial security now. Equity, appreciation, and even more predictable housing expenses when you're a homeowner. I was just talking about, I get calls on a regular basis of people are saying, my landlord decided to sell his house now. Why wouldn't he? He's selling into a very strong market. But what does that do to the renter? It displaces them. It takes away all the security. They may have been tenants there 1 year, but they may have been there for 5 years. I hear that story, if not on a weekly basis, every other week. And so having more predictable home ownership, stability, staying in where you are, but the housing expenses, they vary a lot less. And today, with 2 and 3% fixed rates for the next 30 years, yes, your taxes will go up, but so will all the other expenses for everybody else. And if taxes go up on your primary residence, imagine if they're going to go up even more when they don't have homestead protection like a rental property does. And what is the landlord going to do when those costs go up? They're going to pass those costs on to the renters. So those are huge financial benefits of owning a home. Home ownership is truly the best way to improve your long-term financial goal. In fact, I can also tell you that for years and years dealing with financial planners and advisors, that and this is kind of an interesting conversation that I haven't gotten statistics on, but more people accidentally have their retirement built up in their homes or in the real estate of the business that they built over the last 40 years than in their retirement accounts. In fact, if you look at the average or median equity in a property versus the median amount in your retirement plan, real estate wins again. And so, as you know, the old saying, more millionaires have been created through real estate than any other investment vehicle out there. This is why this is Monday on a Mission. We're setting the agenda. We're going to talk about those psychological, we'll talk about those financial, net worth, security, and those kind of things. And we're also going to talk about the benefits, the economic benefits of home ownership. And like I said, and I'm not just talking about the civic, the feel good part of the neighborhood, but real estate related spending next time, because I always have fun doing this. Next time when you're out driving to wherever you're going, look around at the cars that are on the road, and you're going to find that a significant proportion, if not the majority, you're going to see the plumbers, the electricians, you're going to see pickup trucks with ladders, you're going to see handymen, you're going to see alarm companies, you're going to see cable companies. All of those are all real estate related. In fact, if there weren't real estate, there would be none of those jobs. So from all of the folks that through the pandemic have now been spending more time at home, feeling that pride of home ownership, that are spending more time. I've seen more re-roofs, new landscaping, and additions during the last 12 months than I have probably for the last 12 years. And why? Because home-related spending, now that we're spending a majority of our time in our homes, it is an economic force in the economy. Why do you think also that in spite of all of the unemployment and of all of the pandemic, restrictions and obstacles and distancing and curfews and everything, it is the real estate market right now that is still driving the engine that's going on, the economic force, the housing related expenses. They account for more than 1/6 of the country's economic activity as a whole over the past 3 decades. So housing related spending is one of the economic benefits that not only benefits you and I on a one-on-one basis, not only in our local neighborhood and communities, but also on a city, state, and national level, which is one more reason why we want to pay attention to that. And now here's a sort of an interesting one, and this kind of leads you to why I relate real estate and entrepreneurship with each other. Entrepreneurship is an economic benefit of real estate, and home ownership is a form of forced savings for a lot of people, right? They systematically pay down their mortgage. They systematically, hey, what's up, buddy? And you have the ability to create this forced savings plan, which also gets magnified or accelerated by the appreciation. So when you have the equity buildup through the systematic pay down of your mortgage, or through the improvement of your property, adding, upgrading, updating, and just overall making your property be worth more, and then you add to that forced savings, this is what spurs and often is the seed for other economic opportunities. And so here's a quote that I thought was really cool. Owning a home enables new entrepreneurs to obtain access to credit, to start or expand the business, and generate new jobs by using their home as the springboard collateral for small business loans and more. So that's the tone I want to set for this week. That's our Mondays on a Mission show for this Monday. We got a lot more. We're going to dig deeper and go farther into each one of those topics throughout the year. Our Monday, Tuesday, tools and techniques. Wednesday's midweek report. Our Thursday's ATM edition about the money. And then we'll wrap it all up and bring a nice good summary on our Friday show. And maybe we'll have a couple of deals to throw in there in the meanwhile. Well, that's it for today's show. This is Eric Willner, your host of America's longest running daily radio show, signing off, but only until tomorrow. So until then, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you, man. Have a good night. That wraps that up. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We got a fun week planned out ahead of time. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Thank you. Thank you for that. It's very kind words. We have to have you come back sometime. And I am going to wrap this up here. we're gonna close down first our stream. Hey, Brian, how's it going? Southern California is in the house.